Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Bean. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance and I for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today on Monday. So this is the stuff from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is kind of actually an overall pretty bad weekend. It's about like 30 to 40% less like sales and like items, but we're moving along. We finally had a couple of sales pick up as I've come back from the storage unit. All right, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So the first thing is Litco Navy wind gauge right here. Can they see it? No. All right, there you go. All right, so this is a company that normally does acrylic accessories for board games and miniature games. This one is like a wooden laser etched one. So yeah, this is just going to keep track of like which way the wind is blowing in this miniature game, like a naval miniature game. All right, next up is an interesting item. We do like grabbing stuff like this. This is a Burger King 2001 crown. Even with the bends and stuff, it's still worth some money. People like this stuff. Just any kind of like restaurant items do pretty well, especially for us. That's something that we have learned a lot over time. This one sold for $10, but this was actually in a garbage bag that yeah, I ended up throwing away some garbage for someone, and I got this from garbage. All right, next up is something that Annetta listed. We get a bunch of free stuff from her parents. Her parents got a bunch of like travel stuff. We also got like mugs and stuff. So yeah, these are a pair of slippers. Let me look down and see what they're called. Terranier Resorts. And that's about all I can say. I guess this is from California. So these are going to be like a little slippers that they give you in the resort. These two sets of two sold for $8. So everything's plus shipping. I don't know if I mentioned that so far. But yeah, we do plus shipping for everything, so I'll just save us time moving forward. All right, next up is a CD, a music CD. Let's see right here. This one is going to be Celtic 2001 Colors, The Routes of the World right there. So yeah, this one's actually just sealed. We got this one. We got a bunch of CDs for $75. I think it was in like 2020 or 2021. They're still slowly selling. I think Annetta actually listed this one where she used to live. I can tell by the pictures. It wasn't even like a super professional picture. It doesn't matter. It sold for, let's see, $8.05. All right, next up is an RPG book. You know that we sell a lot of this stuff. This is Dragon Star. This is a free preview little booklet. So yeah, it's just gonna have a couple pages. People buy this stuff when you want to spend like a little bit of money of an RPG and you want to know if you like it. If you read the free preview and you don't like the free preview one, you probably won't like the actual overall one. So yeah, this is sci-fi. There's like a dragon on the front. There's a cool little spaceship on the back, as you can see right there. This one sold for $10. This is a repeat buyer, so they probably buy RPG stuff from us. All right, next up is something that I keep an eye out for. This is a set of white chess pieces. These are between 1.5 to 2 inches, maybe a little bit more for the king and queen. So the reason why I picked these up, and I don't know if they're baggied, they have a felt bottom. So I just happen to know a lot of people have their idea of what they want for a chessboard and chess pieces. There's not really one company that makes good ones, and honestly, most of the good ones are gonna be like custom and really, really expensive. There's also like tournament, not tournament, and there's more stuff I probably don't know about it. But I do know people like felt bottoms. There are some people, if it doesn't have a felt bottom, they don't want it for their chessboard. This little packet, probably from like a thrift store, probably from like a Savers or Goodwill. This one sold for $12.95. All right, next up is a pack of playing cards. These are sealed. These are Dougherty Pinochle playing cards. I don't know if I'm saying Pinochle right. Number 43. I always grab like unique and interesting like cards, playing card decks. This one sold for $10.08. All right, next up is also an interesting item because we got a lot of like HoloLive, like anime figures, Nendoroids and stuff from someone. And then there's always these like extra things I pick up from people, and I'm always surprised that the like extras or stuff that I don't think will do as well, do really well really quickly. This is Japanese from Zero, just a book that teaches you how to write and to read Japanese. This sold for $19.99. So in my head, I was expecting all these to be like $7 to $8, and I would have been happy. So yeah, another one selling for $19.99 is pretty good. Yeah, I don't want to crush that, so I don't know where to put that. All right, next up is a diploma. I'm sorry, not a diploma. Yeah, like a diploma frame right here. So this is gonna be like an old vintage one. This is from, let's see, I don't know. It's made in USA. So if this is probably anywhere from like the 70s to the 90s. Right here, this is just a frame. That's it. It's just straight up a frame. Someone's going to put their little diploma in it. It has like a nice little wooden outside with like a gold lining. This one ended up selling for $12.79. This is one of those things where like when we buy them or get them or whatever, it's just like, I don't know if this will sell. Let's see. And then it did end up selling. So yeah, I will kind of list almost anything, honestly. All right, next up is a Dice Masters promotional bag. World's Finest Dice Masters. You can't really see it, but on the front is going to be Batman. On the back is going to be Superman. I believe this is a set for a dice game. This is the bag where you keep your army. I'm not sure if you pull out stuff randomly. It's been a long time since I was taught the game one time. Like I literally played like 30, 45 minutes of Dice Masters. So like, yeah, I have memory decay at this point because that was probably in like 2013 to 2015, somewhere between then. So this sold for $13.68. I know people like to accessorize any board game or tabletop game. All right, next up is a travel Scrabble. I almost said travel. There you go, a travel game. Travel Scramble, this one's complete. I also had one. Yeah, did I say Scramble? You know what? That's okay. This is what it is. These are tiles and a bag, and it says Scrabble on front. This one's complete. I also have one missing one little piece. I hope they only realize that there's no board for this, so they're going to need their own board. So I might have messed up the listing, but we'll find out. This ended up selling for $14.40. Sometimes I'm just like, as I'm picking items at storage, I'm like, ooh, maybe I could have ordered that better. All right, next up is like anime's been doing pretty well for us. We got DVDs a long time ago. The Moment of Truth First Squad right here. Don't know anything about this one. It didn't sell for a lot. This ended up selling for $8.64. But yeah, it looks like some like fantasy sword one. I see a bunch of swords and guns. Action-packed one, $8.64. All right, next up is a Halloween item or a fall festive little scarecrow on a rocking chair right here. Yeah, it's kind of like a plushie. It's gonna, yeah, there's like cotton or something in there. Yeah, someone's just gonna have this at their window, on their porch, or in their house. Yeah, it's a lot of people love Halloween in the fall. So there you go. This one's like a foot or a little bit more than a foot tall. This is by, I can't really tell. But yeah, this one sold for, yeah, I don't see any brand in my listing, $18. All right, next up is an anime poster print. This is Neon Genesis Evangelion, I think. There you go. It's just going to be a couple of the characters. We're going to have to figure out a way to ship this flat, or we'll see if it can go like curled up into like a box or something if we curl it up, but you don't want to get these things bent. This also sold for $27. I got a bunch of like Japanese anime prints like this, and I also got a bunch of like movie posters from Japan, which were pretty cool, like legit ones. They sell kind of slowly, but I did price them higher. That sold for $27. Next up is a Legion deck box, or like a deck container lunchbox tin. This one's like their hazard sign. It's black and green. These didn't do well when they came out. It's literally just a tin. You can put to like your, there's Legion, the brand, which is not around anymore. People liked their double matte sleeves when they first came out. So those are probably still worth a bunch. I haven't looked into it in a while. Sorry, that was a tangent, but that's the company that also made these containers. Yeah, just a little lunch tin where you throw in your cards and dice. It doesn't really do well to protect them, but this still sold for $8. But yeah, even though that's pretty vintage, it's still only one for $8, plus shipping, of course. All right, next up is a promotional sheet. We do sell a lot of promotional sheets. Legend of the Five Rings Clan War. Clan War is going to be their miniature game. People love Legend of the Five Rings. There's a bunch of different like samurai factions. There's an immense amount of lore. There's an immense amount of different products made by different companies. I think this was AEG. I think it's like Elderic Entertainment Group. I think I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, just this flyer right here. We have some other flyers. This one sold for $18. Yeah, people love these like vintage, like promotional flyers and stuff. They're just pretty cool to frame or just to have them, especially if you're into like the card game, or in that case, the miniature game, but they also have a card game and board games. All right, moving along, we have a Terraforming Mars custom playmat. I don't think I can take this one out right here. Yeah, this is just one playmat for a player. It's neoprene. So yeah, it's going to lay out. I don't know if you can see the bottom of this right now. Can they see it in frame right here? Okay, we'll have a playmat on the table normally. So yeah, it's just a nice playmat where you can like slide off the cards, put them back on. You don't have to worry about like dirt underneath the table and drinks and stuff like that. This sold for $8. It was pretty cool. All right, next up is the Star Wars X-Wings Miniatures Rebel Maneuver Dial Kit. Right here, it's just going to be an accessory to the Star Wars X-Wing game where you add a little like this actual red dial onto the dial on the bottom, so it looks cooler, and you can also denote your ships by like player color. This ended up selling for $10. Yeah, these weren't too expensive when they first came out. I think they were like $15 for like a new one. So this sold $10 to a repeat buyer. I think they bought some of our other little bases where you can change the base colors from clear to other colors. So yeah, they're just accessorizing X-Wing. Just pretty cool that people are still playing it. All right, next up is the strategy guide book, and we just picked up a bunch, so I still have to list some. The other like 10 or so I got. This is Duke Nukem Forever, I think. Is that the, yeah, Duke Nukem Forever Balls of Steel limited edition. strategy guidebook. It's a hardcover one. It's actually like a pretty good condition for the strategy guidebooks that we normally get. This sold for $14.58. All right, moving along, we have a catalog. So yeah, we've been selling a bunch of catalogs. This is different. This is 2010 summer catalog for Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, which they also have role-playing games, miniature games. They say on the back, novels, yeah, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, this one ended up selling for $36. I do think someone would definitely know the value of this. Magic the Gathering, even the not card stuff, is worth a lot, or at least people know to at least look out for it or look it up. So if they looked it up and there's not that many listed, they're definitely going to grab it. So yeah, this is still a catalog like the girl clothes ones and the toy ones and the mechanic ones that we sold. But yeah, that $36 is really good. I've had that one for a bit, so that wasn't something we grabbed recently. So I priced it higher, and I got the high price that we asked for it. All right, moving along, we have a PC game, Disney Coaster. This is going to be like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but the Disney version, so it's not going to be as well known, I guess. Everyone knew Roller Coaster Tycoon. Maybe they were trying to ride the wave on this one. Yeah, I guess they can't see. There you go. It's just a PC game without the big box. This sold for $9.60. And then I think that is everything, but one more thing I want to go through right here. We got some iMailers, these right here. We bought these for ourselves. This is a 500 count. These are like the type of things that we use to wrap stuff around when I'm listing, to put into storage, like into the boxes, into storage, to make sure that like books don't get drinks or dust or scratches on them. And it doesn't have to be for books, but yeah, I like this size, 9x12. I like this kind of like flimsy material. There's also like a more rigid material. So here's like a rigid one right here. I don't like this rigid one as much because like the edges, if I try to squish something in, it kind of like tears the edges and ruins the purpose of the actual point of the seal. And then the rigid ones do work pretty well for things like this, because then, yeah, this one won't budge and won't be as malleable, where this one's like a softer kind, and it just like kind of wraps around the item nicely and does really well for magazines and books. Other stuff too, I use it for like a smaller size, but for the Scrabble thing. So yeah, that's everything. I do have a monthly recap video for September coming up. So if you want me to answer any questions, or if you want me to talk about anything specific in that video, let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one. It's the start of the week. We're going to go at it.